to 6th episode of Mental Wellbeing during COVID-19. We have Professor Jayaraman Subramaniam, the guest speaker for today. Professor Jayaraman is a graduate in Mechanical Engineering and a postgraduate in Management Studies from Indian Institute of Management, Kolkata. He holds a PhD in the area of talent management. He is a professor with more than 17 years of teaching and research experience. Apart from academics, Professor Jayaraman has wide experience in diverse industries ranging from automobile, construction, IT service, and iron and steel. He also held senior level positions in various organizations. His area of expertise and research interests are human resource management, performance management, competency-based recruitment and selection, and organizational change and development. He conducts management development programs for senior executives in various organizations in the area of leadership development, team building, performance management, and negotiation and influencing skills. He is also an expert in conducting programs with experiential learning techniques. Currently, he is a director of International School of Business and Media based in Bengaluru. I welcome Professor Jayaraman Subramaniam for this session. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak on this forum. I'd also like to thank Dr. Parvez Talib, who I respect immensely, for referring me to this forum. You know, we almost come to almost 2 months since the lockdown started. And I'm sure that some of you may be stressed beyond a point. Some of you may have utilized this time very, very productively. See, when we talk about stress management, we must understand what is stress. Stress happens, it's like a tension which arises in people. The main cause of stress is probably due to certain demands on our day-to-day, changes in our day-to-day routine. Maybe an event which we are not foreseen, unforeseen event that is happening in our, like a loss of a job, or companies not being able to pay their, salaries on time, can cause immense amount of stress to people. So it causes anxiety. But can we control the environment? We cannot. We cannot control the environment. What we can control is our response to a stimulus. If you look at things, maybe at history in the last 100 years or whatever, the world has gone through huge number of such events. Like, for example, the Great Depression of 1930s, followed by the World War. The Great Depression almost lasted 10 years. The kind of economic, depression, which has impacted the entire world. And it started in the US and it impacted the entire world. And then followed by a World War II. And then we had the 9/11 happening. Then we had a financial crisis happening. We have the 1973 Yom Kippur War. Events, political events, natural disasters, cyclones, what has happened in Calcutta recently. Huge amount of destructions caused. Who anticipated it? Definitely people have lost their homes. People have lost their livelihood. So it's huge cost to bear. But the good point, the world has always come back. People have always had the resilience to come back, to fight every battle. They get impacted in the short period of time, but in the long-term consequences are that people become more stronger. Mentally, they came to learn to cope with difficult situations, and that's what any unusual, unforeseen event will do to you. It always brings out the best in people, right? I'm not saying that should happen every day, but it's something that happens, over which we have no control. So how do we respond to this? My advice to all of you is to to look deeper into your own self and say that, look, what is it that I can do? Because the future is, it is hope, and hope alone that makes people survive and fight. You fight to live another day. That's what it is. I would like to look at the responses outline these responses in three different segments. Or say, what to say is three different ways I'd like to write. First, if you look at first of all, have a completely optimistic approach towards the future. When I say optimistic approach, and I say, look, what are the good things that can happen? What I can do? So for which you read, what you need is imagination. Einstein once said that imagination is more important than knowledge, because knowledge is limited, and it is limited to the kind of things that we know and understand. But imagination is unlimited. The power of your imagination can take you anywhere. It helps you to visualize your future in a positive way. And it will also impact you and change your behavior, and your actions will also change. So imagination is very important. So I would expect each and every one of you, the faculty, the students, and every one of us, to start imagining how can life be different. Because the life is going to change. The coronavirus pandemic has impacted people in such a way it is going to change the way we live in future. So we've got to be able to adapt and innovate and change the way we lived our life so that we have a better future. So the first thing is imagination. Once we know what you want and we are able to visualize, particularly students who are in the first year of their MBA program, or maybe in the university program in engineering, whatever they are, or in the second year of their MBA program, I'm looking for placements in the next year, in 2021. Start thinking about what kind of vertical industries will be starting to open up. What kind of skill sets would I like to imbibe in myself so that I can be ready for a career? If you look at some of the companies that actually come to campuses to hire people, 5 very important skill sets that they talk about all the time. Number 1 is communication skills. Number 2 is ability to adapt to change and ability to handle multiple priorities. Knowing how to prioritize, because when you go into work, you will constantly be bombarded with a huge amount of tasks, one after the other will be coming in. Your ability to prioritize which one is important and make the right decision is very important. Third, very important point, is leadership skill. Are you the kind of person who like to take initiative? Do you like to take responsibility without being told? You like enjoying taking the responsibility and taking a lead. And this is the one that differentiates one ordinary person to an extraordinary person, a person who does not need to be told. Companies always look for these kind of people. And the fourth, very, very important one, decision-making skills. How do you make decisions? Well, all decisions that you take may not go right. But if 80% of your decisions go right, then you are going to be very successful. How do you make decisions? For needing to make decisions, you need to be able to know how to look at data, how to look at information, how to assimilate information, how to arrange the information in such a way that you will help me to look at various alternatives. And if one fails, do I have a backup plan? These are the kind of things that differentiate managers, good managers from poor managers. Fifth, very important point is the technological skills that are required today in the modern world. When I'm talking about technological skills, I'm talking about first is your own ease with which you work on Excel, your ability to do analysis using Excel, your ability to write a macro, your ability to arrange pivot tables and pivot charts, and be able to arrange information in such a way that you are able to clearly distinguish into what are the right decisions that you need to take and how does it impact. And digital skills, ability to use various digital platforms, social media platforms, which is what makes you what you are. Young people, of course, today are quite very, very, very familiar with a lot of these digital tools, digital marketing, right? And very, very important for each one of you to understand this, right? Having said all this, having cultivated these skills, I think the more important thing, how do I work on these skills? What do I do with this? I have a little time left. Well, 2021 is another about almost a year, almost about 8 months away. Well, there are very many pessimistic projections about what they call the economy will not be growing. It might be this pandemic will affect the economy for more than a year. Don't listen to all this. You look at what you call what can happen, because please remember, if you look at history, there have been many cases. In 2008, what happened when the 9/11 happened? There was a financial crisis. There was this, what do you call, impact which started off in the US and it impacted the entire world. The subprime crisis, right? But the economy bounced back within 8 months, within 12 months, whatever. Economy, what goes down must come up, must come up. So there is, the only time is the time. How long will it take? What are the kind of skill sets that I need to bring in so that, for example, if I don't know, you see, if you look at a person like Vaiju Ravindran, an engineering graduate from Government Engineering College, Kannur, graduated in 2000. Look where he is today. I'm very sure he had a very fertile imagination. He knew what he was doing. Today he is in a business. He's one of the most thriving businesses, online education. Right? So I think that for implementation, when you have a right amount of imagination and you start introspecting what is it that I need to build, you will hit the right path. Once you hit the right path, I think implementation is very important. Inaction, not inaction. Implementation is very important. How do I implement what I want to be, what I want to do? Today there are multiple what you call avenues available for improving your skills online, sitting at home, but for which you need to create a very clear, personal, balanced scorecard, I would say. Okay, how do I going to apportion my time? What are the kind of things that I want to do? What am I going to do in the morning? First of all, you must look at your own health, right? Your health. How much time am I going to work on my exercises and maintain my, not only my physical well-being, but also my mental well-being? Very important. Some of you might like to meditate for some time. Well, it gives a huge amount of power to understand, to deep look in itself, and huge amounts of emotional, what do you call, calmness that brings in you, right? It's a very, very important element of your personal growth. And then once you prepare a schedule, follow it with a lot of discipline. I'm going to work on this, on these things, and I'm not going to stop until I finished. You take your breaks in between, since you're at home, and more and more when you see it, you're able to create a schedule, typically what is called the PDCA cycle. Do a plan, do, check, act. This is my plan. This is what I'm going to do. And start reviewing it almost every week, maybe once in a fortnight, and say, where are the slippages that has happened? Where are you getting stuck? What are the reasons for your, what do you call, for slipping up? Look at plug those kind of holes, and then you will see. And review your own progress. Maybe discuss with your colleague, maybe discuss with your, what do you call, friends, and then share with them some of the difficulties that you face. Maybe somebody will be, maybe, and if you're a student, share it with your prof. And as far as faculty is concerned, I think there's a huge amount of things that the faculty can do. One of the, I think the most important thing that they really need to do as far as faculty is concerned, learn how to teach. And online teaching is very, very different from a classroom experience. In a classroom, you are physically in front of a student, you are able to entertain questions, you're able to question them, you're able to, what do you call, clear their doubts. It's not going to happen online. So how are we going to give assignments online? And faculty, this is the best time for them to dig deeper into the research base and start writing articles. How do I publish more? And I can also, faculty can also do their own self-development in terms of attend a lot of faculty development programs. They are available online, right? So I think that looks both faculty and staff, every one of them must start imagining what is it that they want to do, start introspecting what skills do they have now, what are the gaps in their own skill sets which they need to work on. And then once you have done that, draw up a clear schedule for maybe a 3-month period, maybe a 6-month period, and I'm very sure each and every one of you will be successful. I'm going to quote a small verse, a small last paragraph of a very famous poem called The Psalm of Life, written by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. The last paragraph says, so let's be up and doing, with a heart for any fate, still achieving, still laboring. So that is what we need to do. You got to be able to work on yourself, and I'm very sure the economy has to bounce back somewhere or the other. So an opportunity, use this as an opportunity, as a blessing in disguise, what we call, as a blessing in disguise. and take up all those activities which you had always wanted to do, but your work life or they were never allowed you to do that. So now you have the entire time at your disposal, at your command. So spend that time usefully. I'm very sure each and every one of you will come out of this and will have a bright future. So for all those people, students particularly, start working on your skill sets. Start working on what is it that you want to be? What kind of a career would you like to have? And look at those skills that are required to and work on them. And I'm sure you will all be very successful. Thank you very much.